Back to the Future is not just a cult classic. It's a time-traveling legend that has captured hearts for decades, including perhaps those of your parents as well. Few films have managed to leave such a lasting impression across multiple generations, blending science fiction, comedy, adventure, and heartfelt storytelling into one unforgettable cinematic experience. Even now, decades after its original release, the movie continues to attract new fans who discover the trilogy for the very first time. Yet despite how beloved the films are, even the most dedicated fans may not know all the fascinating behind-the-scenes secrets that have surfaced over the years. Members of the cast and crew have gradually revealed stories that shine a completely new light on the making of the trilogy. From hidden character quirks to surprising production challenges and unexpected casting drama, these revelations make the world of Back to the Future even richer and more fascinating than audiences ever imagined. It's time to travel into both the past and the future of this iconic franchise like never before. When most people think about Back to the Future, one image immediately comes to mind. The gleaming silver DeLorean racing down the road at incredible speed, flames erupting behind its tires as it vanishes into another era. The car became one of the most recognizable vehicles in movie history, practically as famous as Marty McFly and Doc Brown themselves. However, many fans are shocked to learn that the DeLorean was not originally intended to be the film's time machine at all. In the earliest drafts of the screenplay, the concept looked entirely different. Rather than a stylish sports car, the time machine was imagined as a bulky laboratory-style device. At one stage in development, the filmmakers even planned for time travel to happen inside a refrigerator. Yes, a refrigerator. The idea reflected a much more traditional science fiction aesthetic, similar to the strange contraption seen in old 1950s B-movies. Characters would climb into the machine, activate it, and travel through time in a stationary chamber rather than speeding down highways. While the refrigerator concept may have fit classic science fiction traditions, it lacked the excitement and energy that the filmmakers ultimately wanted for the movie. More importantly, it presented a practical problem. A refrigerator could not easily move from place to place, making it difficult to build thrilling time travel sequences around it. Robert Zemeckis and Bob Gale quickly realized that the story needed motion, speed, and excitement. The time machine had to feel adventurous rather than static. Imagining Doc Brown dragging a refrigerator around town simply did not create the cinematic thrill they were searching for. They needed something mobile, something futuristic, and ideally something that would immediately fascinate teenagers. That realization eventually led them to the DeLorean DMC-12. The DeLorean was already a unique and eye-catching vehicle in real life. Its stainless steel exterior, low, futuristic frame, and iconic gull-wing doors gave an appearance unlike almost any other car on the road. Even before any movie magic was added, it already looked like a machine capable of traveling through time. By the time production began, the car had actually been discontinued, but that hardly mattered to the filmmakers. In fact, its unusual design made it even more perfect. Transforming the DeLorean into the time machine added personality and style to the film in ways a stationary machine never could. The car was no longer simply a prop or a plot device. It became a character all on its own, central to the identity of the trilogy. The choice also opened the door for some of the film's most unforgettable scenes. Watching the DeLorean accelerate toward 88 miles per hour while sparks flew and the flux capacitor glowed created a sense of wonder audiences had never experienced before. The fiery tire tracks left behind became instantly iconic. The car made time travel feel dangerous, exciting, and incredibly cool. Younger audiences especially connected with the adventurous spirit of those sequences. The DeLorean transformed the idea of time travel from a complicated scientific concept into pure cinematic excitement. Today, it feels impossible to separate Back to the Future from the DeLorean. The image of a refrigerator being used instead now seems almost absurd. Yet this perfectly demonstrates how creative ideas evolve over time. Sometimes the greatest decisions come from recognizing what does not work and daring to imagine something better. Without that creative shift, the movie may never have achieved the legendary status it holds today. What many people also fail to realize is that Back to the Future nearly never reached theaters at all. Although the story is now considered one of the most brilliant and entertaining screenplays of the 1980s, studios initially rejected it again and again. Robert Zemeckis and Bob Gale believed deeply in their idea, but Hollywood executives were uncertain. The film mixed science fiction with comedy, heartfelt family drama, and teenage adventure in a way that felt difficult to categorize. Studios worried audiences would not understand it or know what kind of movie it was supposed to be. Executives often prefer projects that fit neatly into familiar genres because they're easy to market, and Back to the Future seemed too unconventional. Some studio executives considered the story too strange, while others feared audiences would find the time travel plot confusing. A few believed the special effects would be too expensive or impossible to execute convincingly. Others doubted whether Marty McFly would resonate as a lead character. The script balanced humor with genuine emotional stakes, and that combination made many decision-makers nervous. Hollywood often avoids risks, especially when a film cannot easily be compared to existing successes. The project survived largely because of the persistence and passion of a few key figures. Robert Zemeckis and Bob Gale refused to give up despite the repeated rejections. Most importantly, producer Steven Spielberg recognized the enormous potential hidden within the screenplay. Spielberg's support carried enormous weight in Hollywood. His belief in the project eventually convinced Universal Pictures to take a chance on the film, even though the studio still had reservations. Without Spielberg's influence and encouragement, Back to the Future might have remained trapped in development forever, never becoming the cultural phenomenon audiences know today. Looking back now, it feels almost unbelievable that studios once doubted the project. The film eventually became one of the most successful and beloved movies ever made, spawning sequels, merchandise, theme park attractions, and decades of nostalgia. What began as a screenplay many executives dismissed ultimately transformed into one of the defining movies of an entire generation. Its journey proves that groundbreaking ideas are often the ones people fear the most at first. Another remarkable chapter in the film's history involves the casting of Marty McFly. Michael J. Fox, who would eventually become inseparable from the role, was always Robert Zemeckis and Bob Gale's first choice. However, casting him turned out to be incredibly complicated. At the time, Fox was starring in the hugely successful television sitcom Family Ties, where he played Alex P. Keaton. The producers of the show were reluctant to release him for a film project because they worried his absence might hurt the series. As a result, Fox initially had no choice but to turn down the opportunity. With Fox unavailable, the filmmakers cast Eric Stoltz as Marty McFly. Stoltz was a talented and respected actor known for his serious, dramatic performances. Filming proceeded for several weeks with Stoltz in the role, and significant portions of the movie were completed. However, as production continued, the filmmakers gradually realized something was not working. Although Stoltz was undeniably skilled, his interpretation of Marty felt too intense and dramatic. The character needed warmth, humor, charm, and comedic timing to balance the story's sci-fi elements. Marty was supposed to feel relatable and fun, not overly serious. Making the decision to replace a lead actor after weeks of filming was incredibly difficult and expensive, but the filmmakers believed the movie depended on getting the tone exactly right. Eventually, changes in the Family Ties production schedule allowed Michael J. Fox to become available, and the filmmakers immediately acted. Fox accepted the role despite knowing it would require an almost impossible work schedule. During the day, he filmed episodes of Family Ties. At night, he rushed to the Back to the Future set and filmed scenes as Marty McFly until the early morning hours. He survived on very little sleep, moving constantly between productions while relying on caffeine, determination, and adrenaline. The demanding schedule would have overwhelmed many actors, but Fox maintained remarkable professionalism throughout the process. His energy, charisma, and natural comedic instincts instantly transformed the film. He brought exactly the balance the filmmakers have been searching for: humor, vulnerability, confidence, and heart. Audiences immediately connected with his performance, and Marty McFly became one of the most beloved movie characters of all time. Importantly, Michael J. Fox has always spoken respectfully about Eric Stoltz and the unusual situation surrounding the recasting. Rather than criticizing Stoltz, Fox has consistently praised his talent and dedication. Over time, the two actors developed mutual respect, recognizing the difficulty of the circumstances they both faced. Fox understood that stepping into a role already partially filmed came with enormous pressure, especially when replacing a capable actor. Nevertheless, he remained deeply grateful for the opportunity, fully aware that Marty McFly would become the defining role of his career. The results of Fox's exhausting dual workload were extraordinary. Back to the Future became a worldwide sensation, praised for its originality, humor, emotional depth, and inventive storytelling. Fox's chemistry with Christopher Lloyd, Leah Thompson, and Crispin Glover created an unforgettable ensemble cast that audiences immediately embraced. Industry professionals were amazed that Fox managed to balance two major productions simultaneously without sacrificing the quality of either performance. Viewers loved him both as Alex P. Keaton on television and Marty McFly in theaters, a rare achievement that demonstrated his incredible versatility and work ethic. Even decades later, Fox's legacy remains deeply connected to the courage and determination he displayed during that period of his life. Despite facing serious personal challenges later on, including his battle with Parkinson's disease, fans continue to admire not only his talent, but also his resilience and humility. His work on Back to the Future remains one of the clearest examples of passion and perseverance in Hollywood history. The production also experienced some surprising tension behind the scenes, particularly between Michael J. Fox and Leah Thompson. On screen, their performances feel effortless. Marty McFly and Lorraine Baines share some of the trilogy's funniest and most awkward scenes, creating a dynamic audiences still remember fondly. Yet their relationship behind the scenes did not begin smoothly. Part of the tension came from the abrupt replacement of Eric Stoltz. Leah Thompson had already spent weeks working closely with Stoltz during the original filming process, and the two had become friends. Stoltz approached the role with deep seriousness and intense method acting techniques, fully immersing himself in the character. When he was fired from production, it affected many members of the cast emotionally, including Thompson. Losing a co-star midway through filming created uncertainty and frustration for everyone involved. At first, Thompson also struggled with her perception of Michael J. Fox. During the early 1980s, television actors were often viewed differently from film actors within Hollywood culture. Thompson considered herself primarily a movie actress, while Fox was best known for his television work on Family Ties. In later interviews, Thompson admitted she initially viewed Fox as just a TV star, which created a certain emotional distance between them. She was not openly hostile, but there was a subtle sense of superiority and skepticism during those first days on set. However, as filming continued, Thompson quickly recognized Fox's extraordinary talent and professionalism. His humor, dedication, and charm gradually broke down the barriers between them. Over time, the two developed strong chemistry both on and off screen, helping create some of the movie's most memorable scenes. What started as tension eventually evolved into mutual admiration and friendship, proving once again that difficult beginnings can sometimes lead to extraordinary results.